What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be about employment insurance, or EI. In this video, we're going to find out if you're even eligible to apply for EI, and I'm going to go through an actual EI application myself. One thing I want to make clear right from the beginning, so y'all don't get confused, is that if you are watching this video because you have been affected by the pandemic that's going on right now, check to see if you're eligible for EI first. If you are eligible for EI, then great, go ahead and apply for it. If you are not allowed to get EI, then you can go ahead and apply for the Canada Recovery Benefit, or CRB. So you got to get that in your head first. You have to check if you're eligible for EI first, and then you can go ahead and get CRB if you are not allowed to get EI. So you can't get both at the same time. So I just want to make sure that everyone has that clicked in their head. All right, good. So now I hope we're all on the same page. Now we can go ahead and start talking about employment insurance. Let's get right into it. Alright, so first and foremost, we're going to discuss what employment insurance, or EI, means. So basically, whenever you stop working here in Canada, you're entitled to employment insurance, which is basically just temporary financial support while you're out of work. Now, there's certain benefits for certain groups of people. Majority of people are probably going to fall under the regular or sickness benefits, but you will see a lot of people also fitting in under the maternity or the caregiving benefits, or even the fisherman's benefits as well. For the sake of this video, we're just going to be focusing on the regular benefits, but before that, I'm just going to do a quick comparison between regular benefits and sickness benefits anyways. So you can get regular benefits if you have lost your job through no fault of your own. So that's if your company went through mass layoffs, or there's a shortage of work, or if there's a global pandemic that's causing entire provinces to go under lockdown. And on top of that, you have to be in this condition where you are completely able and capable and available to work, but the problem is that you just can't find any work. Now, on the other hand, you're going to have sickness benefits. So sickness benefits is if you're unable to work because of sickness or an injury, or you got a quarantine. So for this one, you got to be in this position where you would have been totally okay and capable of working, but this injury or the sickness is preventing you from going to work. So if regular benefits doesn't sound like it applies to you, then it's probably going to be sickness benefits. And if it's not sickness benefits, then it's probably one of the other ones that I'm not going to cover in this video. Now, one of the requirements to get employment insurance is to be part of insurable employment. Now, that's just all fancy talk for basically a job that is taking out EI premiums from your paycheck. So you can go ahead and go look at your pay stub, and if you see EI being deducted from your pay, then you are considered to have insurable employment. Now, this is where the criteria between regular benefits and sickness benefits kind of differ. So in order to get regular benefits, you have to have been without work and without pay for 7 days straight within the last 52 weeks. Now, for sickness benefits, it's a little bit different because they require your weekly income to have been reduced by more than 40%. So for sickness benefits, you can just go ahead and check your weekly pay stub, and if you're making 40% or less now, then you can probably be eligible for these sickness benefits. The next requirement that you need in order to get regular benefits is that you have to have met this certain requirement of number of insurable hours. Now, again, that's just going to be fancy talk for number of hours that you have worked at your job that is taking EI out of your paycheck. Just to put it in simple words, I guess. So for regular benefits, what they're saying is that you need to have between 400 and 700 insurable hours at your job in the last 52 weeks or since the start of your last EI claim. So normally what happens is that you figure out what your required insurable hours are by actually checking the unemployment rate. Now this gets a little bit tricky just by talking about it, but it's very simple when you go on the government's website. All you literally got to do is just put in your postal code, and then they will find the unemployment rate based on the area that you're living in, and then they will tell you your required number of insurable hours. Now for sickness benefits, it's a little bit different because they require at least 600 insurable hours compared to 400 to 700 for regular benefits. So 600 hours I think is about like 25 days or something like that. But yeah, both regular and sickness benefits are gonna use this unemployment rate, which is based off of the area that you're living in, and that'll help you figure out what your insurable hours are, and I'll leave a link for that in the description box below as well. There's a certain change that's happened to EI which I'm going to mention later in the video, but just for your own sake of knowledge and learning, I'll leave a link for that in the description box below so you can put in your own postal code and play with it yourself if you want. Those are all the requirements to get sickness benefits, and there's two more actually for regular benefits, one of which is that you have to be capable and available of working every single day, and on top of that you have to be applying and searching for jobs as well, and you got to keep a list of that, which is recommended by the CRA. So I recommend you do that just in case the CRA comes asking any questions. Anyways, those are the main eligibility requirements to get regular benefits and sickness benefits. At this point in time, you should understand what employment insurance is, and you should understand the requirements for both of those benefits like I just mentioned. Now we're going to actually go through the new changes that have been made because of the pandemic, and then after that we're going to actually go through an EI application quickly as well. These changes were introduced September 27, 2020, and they're going to be in full effect until September 27, 2021. The very first change that was introduced relates to the unemployment rate that we were talking about a little bit earlier. So across Canada, there's a bunch of different levels of unemployment. Some places are going to have high unemployment rates and some places are going to have lower unemployment rates. But what the government has done is that they're going to apply the 13.1% across all regions in Canada. Now, if you are entitled to a higher EI payment because your region has a different unemployment rate, then they will do that based off of the application that you submit, of course. But that means that everyone across the board is essentially going to have that 13.1% unemployment rate on their claim. The second change relates with the first one. Since the 13.1% unemployment rate applies to all of Canada now, the required number of insurable hours is 420. So the second change is that the government is going to be providing a one-time only 300-hour credit. So that means now you need 120 insurable hours instead of 420. Essentially, they're just trying to make your life a little bit easier to be eligible for EI because it's been a tough year for everyone. Let's put it at that. The third change that was made was probably the best one and probably the one that people want to hear about the most, and that's everyone's getting basically $500 now. Usually the calculation is based off of the unemployment rate and the insurable hours and a bunch of other things. And on average, it would be about 55% of your weekly income. But now they're just going to be giving $500 per person before taxes. And if you're eligible for more, then again, they're going to deal with that based on the application that you submit. The last and final change that was implemented relates to the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, or CERB. So what they're basically saying is that if you applied for CERB during the past year, then they will extend the time frame that you're allowed to get to accumulate those insurable hours that you're required for EI. Normally they apply a 52-week period before the start of your claim to count up all your insurable hours and that you meet the requirements. But they're saying that if you already taken CERB in this year, they'll extend that time frame for you a little bit, just so it makes it easier to apply and be eligible for EI. So that basically sums up all 4 changes that have been implemented for EI because of this pandemic that's going on right now. We're going to go through an actual EI application. This is going to be the first part of the application, and then I think they send you a code in the mail after that, and I'll be making a separate video on that later. But this is basically going to be the first EI, application submission tutorial that I kind of want to go through. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it. Sit tight and enjoy the tutorial. All right, guys, so we're going to get started with this application for the EI regular benefits, and I'm going to leave a link in the description box below so you can get to this screen as well, and then you guys can get started with me just to follow along with the application. Once you get to this page, what's basically going to happen is that you can just scroll through it. It's going to provide you a bunch of information, and then they tell you a little apply information. We're going to click on this ready to start button here. A bunch of information about privacy, blah blah blah, and then we're going to start the application. Now over here it's saying, are you trying to retrieve an application that you did 72 hours ago? I haven't started any application, so this is a brand new one for me, so I'm going to click on no, and then I'll press continue. So now it's over here, it's asking us type of employment insurance application. It's benefits for employees, so that's what I'm going to click on. And then it's asking for some sort of reference code. Are you part of a group of employees that's in an apprenticeship program, or you're in a group layoff situation? I'm in none of these things, so I'm just going to press no over here. Now it's asking for benefit type, so we're just going to click on regular benefits and then continue with that. It's giving us all the information that I provided about regular benefits before or earlier in the video, so we're just going to carry on. Now it's asking for a bunch of identity information. So this is your SIN number, date of birth, your name, and your address, and all that kind of stuff. So you guys can go ahead and fill all of that stuff out, and then we'll move on to the next page. Identity validation, so it's just confirming all the information that we just put in. Now we can go ahead and press continue, and then it provides us a temporary password. I recommend just taking a screenshot of this in case you forget, but you basically get this temporary password that you can use to access your account after. Again, it's asking for more personal information. So now on this side, it's going to be your email address and your phone number and that kind of stuff. Carry on with all of that information. Programs and services, you can answer this if you want. So for me, I am a visible minority, so I'm just going to click on that and then press continue. So your T4E information, for me, I don't mind it online, so I'm just going to press on this. I'll access it from the MSCA, so the Service Canada account. So I'll click on that one instead of the paper copy. And then the personal tax credit stuff, I have the basic personal tax situation, so I'm just going to click on that one. You might have a partner, so you're going to have to include basic and spouse, but that's basically it, and then I'll press continue from here. So now it's asking for direct deposit, and so the question is, have you used direct deposit on a previous claim for EI benefits within the last year? And I've never applied for EI before, so I'm gonna have to click on no here. Over here, they're just asking to provide the banking information, so your branch number and your account number and all that kind of stuff, so you can go ahead and fill that out. Take a look at your online banking or a void check, and you'll find all that information easily. Now, other personal information, highest level of education. Are you a member of a union or something like that? Just press continue, or answer the question and then press continue. Now it's going to be your latest employer information, so you guys can go fill that out. Whoever your last or your current employer is, just put all that information down. So then the next page is going to talk about the reason for separation. Now for me, it was because of the lockdown, because of COVID. So I'm just going to have to press that, and then I'll press continue. And then you put in your pay information, and then you just confirm what your job title was, and you put all that information down again. So they're asking for basically what your actual role name is. So now this page is just asking for the ROE information. So your employer will let you know if they're going to send the ROE automatically, or if you have to go retrieve it yourself. So just answer it based on that. My employer told me that they're already going to send the ROE to Service Canada. So I'm just going to click on that and then press continue. I'm not in Quebec, so I'm just going to have to press no on this one, and then I'll press continue. Workers' compensation, no, I'm not receiving any of that. Press continue. I'm not receiving any pension, so we can press no and then press continue again. Now, business relationship information, so they're just trying to see if you have some sort of relationship with your employer. Fill all of that information out based on what is related to you, and then you can press continue. And then this is just a bunch of workforce histories, just some basic questions. So again, go through it yourself and then fill it out as you need to. So now on this page, you're asking if we're self-employed. I'm gonna press no. After that, they're asking if I make my income through fishing or farming, so I'm gonna press no. Am I taking any courses or training program? I'll press no, press continue. And was there anyone else that was helping me complete this application? And no. Now it's just gonna ask us for our rights and explain to us our rights and responsibilities. So take your time and just read through this so you can understand it. I already read it before, so I already kind of know what they're saying. But if you haven't seen this before in your life, then just take your time, go through it once, and just try to get a brief understanding of what they're trying to say. We're gonna go through next. Now on the last page here, they're just gonna say, do you accept your rights and responsibilities? I'm gonna press yes, and then we'll press continue. There's an attestation, and yeah, I'll say yes, I accept everything, blah blah blah. And then at this point, your application is submitted. And again, I would recommend just taking a screenshot of this just so you have it for your own records. But that's basically it for now. At this point in time, they're just going to email you a code. Upon receiving that code in the mail, you're just gonna have to deal with the online reporting. That's gonna be the next phase of this application process. So that's just going to be the end of the video for now. I'm going to create a part 2 that's going to show the second half of the application process. So I hope to see you guys there again. If you like this video, please press the like button down below, and feel free to leave any questions or comments that you guys might have in the comments below as well. And feel free to subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. Thank you guys so much, and see you in the next one. Take care.